Hi, Bob here, and welcome to my garden. Buddha garden statues symbolize peace, love, and harmony, for me anyway, and a lot of other people. And they're used by many to help us reflect and be mindful in a very, very busy world. So on today's tour, check out the garden statues that I have, whether they be made out of cement or clay or wood. Check out the rocks, and especially pay attention to the Buddha statues. They're my favorite. This is my house in Cambridge, Ontario, Canada. It's early May 2024, and I bought the house 37 years ago. It had just been built by a Portuguese builder. The people that lived in it only lived in it for 6 months, and they decided to move to Hamilton. So they put it up for sale privately, and I bought it with my wife. We liked it right off the bat. We liked the raised ranch style. We liked the stone on the front. Like the color, like the windows, and we like the street. Anyway, if you look, you'll notice that I have a lot of rocks. And originally there were no rocks. In fact, there were no trees. The only tree was this maple tree right here, and it was a baby. But after living in it for about a year or two, and the chinch bug, which are an insect that eats the grass, caused me a lot of grief. I wasn't used to this much grass all the way around the house, and so I decided that I would replace it with rocks and a little tiny bit of green just for an accent. And so over the years I planted perennials, and I planted some trees, and I put a lot of rocks on the property, as you can see. I was young and I was learning about gardens, and I decided that I needed some peace, and the rocks gave me peace. I think I had visited a garden in Vancouver, Canada. It was a Japanese garden, and I liked the way that they used rocks, and so I thought, yes, this reduces stress. The rocks are peaceful. I don't have to put fertilizer on the grass. There's not much grass. I don't have to water the perennials. Maybe trim the trees a little bit. I like birds. You can see I have lots of birds around here. I feed them, different kinds. Anyway, and I decided to put a few statues in my property. I bought most of them at garage sales, yard sales, and I like metal. I found a few statues that were a little bit rough looking, but I put them here anyway. I like animals, little gnomes, but rocks are the main thing. I like to balance rocks. I like different sizes, different kinds. Limestone rocks with holes in it. Big piece of granite there. Pea gravel on the the pathway. And pieces of driftwood. But I'd like to show you my Buddhas. My Buddhas make me feel happy. There's the back of one. And I'll show you another couple around the back. Let's go for a little stroll. But the Buddhism religion over in places like India has been around forever. Almost 3,000 years, at least. Something like that anyway. There's my little garden station. I collect water. I repot the plants in my house, bring them out for the nice weather, bring them back in the winter, house plants only. Grow things like catnip for my cat, which is a perennial. Rhubarb for me. I even have a couple of wild blueberry plants here I planted a few years ago. They're just starting to grow, so I'll be able to pick my own blueberries. But rocks of all sorts. I even joined a rock and mineral club in the town so I could gather up a few more. Most of these rocks were collected by me in my travels, and they ended up here in my backyard. But there's one of my Buddhas. It sits high up off the ground. Most Buddhas are not on the earth. They're treated as some kind of a deity, a god, a special symbol for the heavens. It's a concept that represents peace and tranquility and anti-stress. Do I worship these creatures? No. I don't even believe in the standard God that most religions profess. But I do like the concept of meditation, and that one I like, that one. And I have another one over here. But before I get there, and I have traveled a few countries of the world, like Africa, and I love elephants. This Buddha is praising the piece of glass, which is really a stone. Here's another piece. Collected those. I respect the indigenous people. Somebody was getting rid of this chief, and so I managed to get it. And it's got a space for a little rock. He or she is holding on to a peace pipe, but I'll put some kind of a rock there in the next few days, as soon as the weather warms up a little bit. But here's my prize. And this Buddha here is holding one of my favorite rocks. I do like round rocks. Found that at the beach, not too far away from here. Jewelry, I collect jewelry that people don't want. I'm a gardener. He has a tool there, or she. And it's made out of cement. It was purchased at a local garden center, not too far from Cambridge. The man who sold it to me said, remember, in the cold weather that you have in southern Ontario here, don't cover it up, don't wrap it up, don't do anything to it, just let it sit in the garden wherever you decide to place it, him. And he's my favorite. He's praising all the different stages that we go through in life, from the suffering to the heavens that we're going to eventually reach over our lifetime. And I meditate to try to make the suffering part of my life not as negative as some people interpret the suffering to be. My crow. By the way, the crow's sitting on a cherry tree that I had for 30 years, sitting right over there where the little baby Buddha is. And I had to take it down because it eventually gave up the ghost and decided to pass on. And so I just laid it there. A few pieces of driftwood down there that I collected at a local beach not far from here. And I have another lady Buddha sitting down here. Now there's two statues. First of all, there's a little statue here sleeping, siesta time. But I like this lady too. She collects rocks just like I do. And this lady, I like her. She's wearing a piece of beaded jewelry. That's about it in terms of statues, or at least Buddha statues. But I intend on getting more. Okay, birds. That's it.